Great news. Overnight, some viewers actually tell me, no joke, that every time my voice comes on camera, their dogs run in the room to see and hear my voice. I don't know if I like that or not. Are they blue dog Democrats? Uh, but apparently Mitch McConnell got word of this and is not happy. So next week, every time Nancy Pelosi introduces his pop bill, he expects to have his lobsters run into the room as well. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LALATE. This is LALATE Afternoons on a day in which the sun is coming up. The smoke has settled down, and I really appreciate you for joining me. Afternoons LALATE is every day at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time with the check. 30 minutes from now will be a big show about hazard pay. And then 30 minutes after that is FPUC, UI, PUA. I'll be answering your questions about unemployment benefits, so tune in for that broadcast as well. And finally, rent. That is 30 minutes after that. This is part of our 3.5-hour programming block every day here on LALATE. Really exciting, great news across the board on your second stimulus check in a day in which not one, but two bills are set to be introduced to give you a stimulus check, an extension of FPUC benefits, and a lot more. It's a hideously confusing day that started early in the morning on Mornings LALATE, and thank you for tuning in. We reached 250,000 subscribers. What an achievement. And a couple dogs, watch this channel as well. So if you've not, go to the front channel, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate you for subscribing, and hit the alert button, and drop your comments below. I may feature them in tomorrow's recording. And then also like this video. We're now appearing at the top of the ranks because of your liking videos, upwards of 15,000 likes per video. Let's get to the incredible, great news today about your second stimulus check, which is really now being pushed in not one, but two bills. This is on top of the world exclusive detail on this channel, which I'm going more into detail right now, about funds sitting in local banks, state, cities, and counties that were supposed to give you stimulus checks, supposed to give you extension of enhanced unemployment benefits, supposed to give you rent. So will you be getting that money in the next couple of weeks? Oh, this is really exciting. So let's get to this details right now. First, a week ago, we were talking about one bill with one man, Mitch McConnell, and the Senate. It was sort of a clear narrative. We could all focus on one thing. Today, it's literally everywhere. And I got to tell you why. I mean, we sort of know why, but I'm going to tell you why. It's a Temple of Doom. She's now caused everyone to sort of scamper and go everywhere to do workarounds. These are literally workarounds. And the workarounds are being done by her own Democrats that don't want to deal with her. And they're also being done by Republicans. And they're also being done by people who want to get relief to you. So this is incredible, great news. Where are the three forces? There's three forces. The third one is the most complex. Let me do the first two. They're the most simple to follow. The first one is the Blue Dog Coalition, the Blue Dog Democrats. This is 25 members of moderate Democrats who for over, August? Since 30 days have told Nancy Pelosi, you can't keep on doing this. We need a standalone bill. You don't do it, we're going to do it. Well, they're doing it. A new report from Bloomberg today says the Blue Dog Democrats, 25 members, are going to do a standalone bill or a narrowly tailored bill that may include 2 or 3 items and introduce it in September. They want this bill introduced on September, and this is according to senior Democratic aide that spoke off the record to Bloomberg. This is going to happen very soon. If you're asking me what are the provisions and how do they work, is it take it out for child support, we just don't know clarity. We just know the path at the moment. That's the first bill. The second bill is coming from the problem solvers. Now, this is the one that I'm exceptionally excited about. Who are the problem solvers? If you've been with this channel for a while, you have heard me talk about them before. They are a nonpartisan group of moderate Democrats and moderate Republicans. And they met with Mark Meadows several weeks ago, several times, to talk about what could get done on a nonpartisan basis. They reached out to the Temple Doom and she refused to meet with them. And so what are they doing? Well, they have a bill that they're going to introduce as well. And they are both in the House and they're both in the Senate, and it's a bipartisan bill and will cost $1.5 trillion. The reason why I'm so excited about this, I think this is incredibly great news, is two things. One, they're highly regarded. Two, actually, it's more than two things. One, they're highly regarded. Two, it's bipartisan. It's bipartisan. Their job is to do things bipartisan when there's an impasse, and the impasse is the Temple Doom. Three, I really like the amount, the 1.5 trillion. This shows it's not a standalone bill. It's not a narrowly tailored bill. It's a bill to include everything to get to you. And why is it 1.5 trillion? Well, we can do the math. It would likely include it would include stimulus checks, FPUC extension, hazard pay. It has to include hazard pay of 1.5 trillion, and would likely include something for state and local. The number fourth is so great because it falls exactly where President Donald Trump, allegedly off the record, is willing to settle at. He's at 1.3, but there's a lot of reports. If you watch my report on Friday with Major Garrett from CBS, he interviewed Larry Kudlow, and he says, there's reports that President Trump would agree to 1.5 trillion. Larry Kudlow would not deny that. Those reports date back to almost July. I've been detailing them for a very long time. So I'm really excited about these two bills. You're going to ask me when, how much, where, how. We simply just don't know the details. These are very, very secretive, quiet things that are being done very strategically so that they work around Temple Doom. Now, what I want you to understand, because I don't get a job comments below. You're going to say, Nancy doesn't support it. I don't care what she doesn't support. These are people who know that she doesn't support, that are in her party, that are breaking rank from her, that are trying to get things done based upon a calculation of how many people they can get to vote. These aren't people that are just throwing bills out. I want to make that also very clear. These aren't people like Mitch last week. They're just throwing out bills to look good. These are people actually trying to get a bill passed. So they're working the system to try to get the number of people that they need to support the bill to get it passed without her involvement, and she's irate about it. She's irate about it for two reasons. One, that they're doing it. Two, that it's absolutely front page news. It's not just here, it's on a lot of major U.S. network channel news sites today that's saying they're not agreeing with her, and that they're trying, and that they had a conversation with her last Thursday and Friday. That was a Steny Hoyer, Hoyer, telephone call, which I detailed extensively for you. They said, do this or else, Nancy. This is the else. It's important to understand why they're doing this. These are people who are up for re-election. She doesn't care about them. She doesn't care whether they lose their Senate or House seat. She doesn't care. She's about to retire. She's about to go and enjoy her, nice retirement. She doesn't care if she loses her seat. She only cares about herself and her perception of winning when millions of Americans are hurting. So, I tagged this morning, I'll tag on this video as well. You need to share this video and tag Steny Hoyer, Blue Dog Democrats, and problem solvers. Someone actually sent me a link that shows all the problem solvers itself. And then there's the new, God, I always forget their name. I always call it the trans group, the new age, jazz Democrats. I can't remember the name. New coalition. They also have a third bill, but not so much is known about it. You need to tag all those three people. I'll drop it on Twitter right after the show goes live. Those are the three things that are so important to understand. Now, the other third one was the world exclusive. That was the world exclusive, and boy, this is so big and such great news for you in so many different regards, because it takes a second or two to digest. I'm going to go slow because it's a little bit complicated. The one of the things I want to start off at the beginning with you for is that state, cities, and counties have money for you, and a lot of them are going to start paying out money to you. So this is the simple thing that you can certainly understand. This is money that they've had since March or April. And I know it sounds weird that someone would have your money since March or April and start to give you money in September. They're going to, and they have. So I want you to be on high alert for any grants for stimulus checks, FPUC or unemployment benefits, food, or rent on a city, county, or state level, because they're all going to do it. Why? They have to do it. And I'm going to get to the details now. There's a big scandal brewing. And the scandal is so enormous, exposed by this channel, that it takes a second to grasp. The scandal involves $150 billion allocated to states under CARES Act 1. It was called the Coronavirus Fund. It was $150 billion approved by Congress, dedicated to states. And that $150 billion would basically land in state coffers, state bank accounts. Most states got about $1 billion or more per state. Then when they received the money from the states had their own inherent authority to decide what to do with the money. They were supposed to send the money to cities and counties in their state, and that money was then supposed to land in your hands, the hands of its residents. It was supposed to come to you. You were supposed to get the benefits of this money. Ultimately, it was handed to states, so that states would then disperse it, send it out to counties and cities, and then they would give it to you. Have you seen the money? No, you haven't seen the money. I haven't seen the money. Have anyone seen the money? No, no one has seen this money. So three things happened with the money. One, it never went anywhere. It's still sitting in the bank account. They're collecting interest on it. Isn't that cute? Second, they spent the money, some of it, on things that doesn't concern COVID-19. That using it for purposes that they were not authorized to use it for. 2 security cameras in a council chambers, an ad campaign in South Dakota, trying to spend, upwards of $1 billion on an ad campaign to promote tourism. Horrible. Spending $35 million on the police force so that they look nice and sharp. This was not what the money was supposed to be used for. Now, there's a third situation. The third situation is that they're trying to divert the money, knowing it's not to be used for these unapplicable purposes. They're trying to divert the money, and now residents, watch groups, channel like this, legal associations are clamping down on them, say, hey, this is citizens' money. What are you doing? What are you doing with their money? And now they're trying to divert it to improper purposes. Other reports, which I'm not going to go into great detail right now, say that they're hoping to hold on to the money to get an extension to then divert it in the fall. What? Yes, there's reports out today that says that they're trying to hold on this money until January of next year and then divert it for purposes that have nothing to do with the pandemic. This is really bad, folks. This is very, very bad. These are people who know it's not money for these purposes and are trying to take your money. I've never seen anything like this. This is one of the worst scandals I've ever seen since the pandemic hit. Now, there's another version of this, and this version is actually the one that brings sort of good news to you. They have a deadline to use the money, and that deadline's coming up. So what are some of the people doing, some of the organizations doing, the cities and counties, is that they're now suddenly rushing to market with grant programs. You're like, grant programs now? Yeah, this is actually good news, that suddenly in September, they're rushing to spend the money because it's use or lose. And so to use it, they're now using it for proper purposes on you, in manners in which we've always, gave up false hope. We gave up hope. We thought, oh, well, we're never going to see any money for rent. We're never going to see any money for unemployment. And ironically, some of the people that are trying to get it for you are local legislators. There's a lot of big articles out today, and I'm going to be detailing them on the unemployment, the third video today, in which there's big calls slamming states that did not give you the $100 add-on for LWA. They're slamming them for not using this money to give you the $100 add-on, which would have been $600. But there's also a good news to that backstory, that states are now trying to do a workaround to pay people who did not qualify for LWA because of the $100 threshold. They're now trying to use this money in a good way and give you unemployment benefits if you did not qualify for LWA. They're trying to give you $300 even if you didn't qualify for the because of the $100 threshold. You guys stay tuned for that video coming up in 1 hour. Finally, the big one and the big kahuna of this entire scandal is getting this money repurposed and going out by executive order. Viewers of this channel universally think that the president's team is up. I do too. That the president is fully aware, but you absolutely have to keep the discussion going. I see the tweets. You have to be on Twitter and Facebook and sharing these videos and saying, hey, grab this money. This is $150 billion dedicated for state and local that they're not using. They don't want to use it. Grab the money. How dare them say, let's just hold on the money till January. Maybe we can use it for a nice, potpourri. Grab the money, President. Grab their money and repurpose it and send out stimulus checks. Now, the president wants to send out stimulus checks. He said it every single week, every single month since the month of June. And he said it over 2 weeks ago on a Friday, not last Friday, but the Friday before. And he said he identified $300 billion he's ready to use for. Well, there's a little bit more, just a little bit more in this fund that he can grab. And with grabbing that, he can send out FPUC extensions, or he can send out more stimulus checks, or he can send out a full stimulus check for dependents, $1,200 for dependents instead of $500. Viewers asking me, how much does the president want to do? When does he want to do it? How does he want to do it? Does he want to take off for child support? I don't know the answers. I mean, I just, all I can tell you is what he said before. He has said a family of 4, not a family of 5. He has said dependents of $500, not a dependents of $1,200. He has not talked about child support. He wants the money to get you quickly in the fastest way possible. An executive order would have to be done in the next few weeks because the money would have to land in your hands before you vote. And I don't just mean vote in the polling place, I mean vote by mail. I think he's going to do it. I absolutely think it's going to happen. But there is hope now that you could get 2 types of funds. One, an executive order stimulus check, and also your state giving you stimulus. You know, it was several weeks ago I talked about Oregon and Washington that said, hey, we're going to send out some stimulus checks to people who made $48,000 or less in 2019 earnings. And we're like, that's really nice. Why aren't the other states doing it? Because they're lazy, SOBs, because they have the money and they're not using it. In that case, that state saw that they had the funds and wanted to use it and wanted to repurpose it. So as we sit here today, what are we thinking about when we talk about stimulus? Well, we talk about 3 different modes of attack. 1, really tagging the blue dogs, the new Democrat coalitions, or whatever they're called, that group, and the problem solvers. Those 3 groups, tagging them and say, we're behind you, we're Purple Power, we're Democrats, we're Republicans, we support your move, get it done. We're hurting. Tell them your personal story. We're hurting. She's not helping us. The Temple of Doom, Nancy Pelosi, is not helping us. You need to help us. You need to tell them your story. There's those 3 steps. Then there's your state and local. They have the money. Tell them to send out money to you. They should be sending money to you, but they will be sending some money out in some jurisdictions. You just have to be on high alert. It's a little bit too overwhelming for me to tell you what's happening in 50-something states and, hundreds of cities across the country. So you need to be on high attention to what's going on locally. I detailed earlier today, the city of Waco, Texas, for example, just announced a rent grant program. Just today, with money they've had since March. That's what's going on. They're just rushing to market with use or lose money. It's good, but you got to be on high alert that you watch when it happens. Finally, the president, you need to really keep the discussion up because the president will and should do executive orders for stimulus checks and FPUC. It's just a matter of when. If there was ever a day to subscribe and like this channel, it might be today. Thank you for helping this channel reach 250,000 subscribers. The spirit of this channel is helping one another. We've always helped one another from day one, whether it was me, getting people PPP, PUA. I did PUA before it ever went live. I said, hey, you got to get on this thing. This is how you apply. I went over the application, EIDL, hundreds of thousands of comments on a weekly basis, answering your questions, getting people EIDL loans, saving their businesses. There's countless stories that I detail on camera. There was one day between a Thursday and a Tuesday, I saved 7 businesses, upwards of, I think it was I think it was about $1 million in EIDL loans in about 7 days, 7 businesses in about 7 days. You know, I used to do videos where I told you how many businesses I saved, told you the name of businesses. It just, after a while, it became so many. So that's the spirit of this channel, and I hope you do the same. That's the Purple Power. We're here to help one another. We're not here to compete. We're nonpartisan. We're here to inspire, motivate, and stay focused. So make sure you also like this video. It helps with the algorithm. Make sure you go to the front of this channel and hit the subscribe button and drop your comments below. I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. And then also like this video. It really helps with the algorithm. We're doing very, very well and appearing high in the search results. Coming up next is Hazard Pay, with big developments on that as well. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and save LA for more.